talk about, I really want to talk about wealth and about wealth creation and about abundance this morning. And as you guys are getting on, if you could just say hello to me, that would be really awesome. Good morning. Awesome. Okay, you guys, hi. We're a slow start this morning. Usually there's like tons of people on already this morning. Hi, Carrie Ann. How are you? Hi, Suzanne. Hi, Shireen. Good morning. Sharina. Sorry. Jessica. Hi. Awesome, you guys. Okay, so hi, Lisa. Hey, Sloan. Amy. Julie. Brandy. Jamie Bogan. All right, let's jump into this. So here's what I want to talk about. So it's funny, this morning I actually prayed, and well, that's not abnormal for me, but I prayed because I had so many thoughts between yesterday and today about today's Coffee with Shanda, about what I actually wanted to talk about. And I have a mixture of things that we talk about, right? We have some of my friends that we have come on. We have some of my clients that we have come on. We have some inspirational stories that come on. But I also want to like do hot seating where I coach your business through the thread and things like that. But then, there's sometimes where I'll get mixed up and I'll sit there and go, well, how do I really add value? Right? Like, how do I make sure that, first of all, this 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda is valuable for you and that you want to come back Monday through Friday every morning and just have your coffee, tea, greens, or whatever it is that you're drinking with me. And there's an art to that to make sure that we stay valuable to you and that you don't waste your time and that it really gives you this jolt for the day. And that's the power of my intention for you. So when I was praying about what do I, talk about, I just kept being confused. And a confused mind typically means one of two things. You don't want to look at something, like there's something that you don't want to look at and you're not willing to look at it, or you're really having a hard time making a decision because you're trying to do it right. And in my case, I was trying to do it right. Like I really wanted to be so valuable to you that my context was in a good light to do it right for you, but in a negative light because it stalls you. So I went to God. And it was about money and wealth today. And sometimes, somebody said something to me the other day and they said, when people go to college or university, we typically don't blame the college or university for our failure. But when someone comes to a coach or a consultant and they don't make it, they typically blame the coach or the consultant that they didn't make it. And I heard that, right? And I said, that's so true. Why do we do that? And it's because we're often putting our responsibility onto other people. And so I want you to be aware of your thoughts when you go to create wealth, when you go to make an offer to someone. Are you trying to get? When you go hire a coach, are you trying to get? Or are you trying to partner? Because there's a very big difference in making a difference in the world and creating ultimate wealth when you have this mindset of partnering, right? So yesterday I went to Costco which is not my job at all inside my company. I just don't do things like that. But I went to Costco because I just felt like I wanted to do it with my assistant because we have basically a party for my employees of the Heartcore company are coming into San Diego. I rented this beautiful house on the ocean, which by the way, I have never seen, that my team handled all of that type of stuff. And I put down the credit card and basically it's a $14,000 weekend for my team. And the reason why I'm sharing that with you is not because of the money aspect, but, I remember there was a time that I would never feel generous enough to do that for my team, to spend $14,000 on a weekend just to have fun with them. There's no business going on. There's no planning going on. There's nothing necessarily that is going to happen for me to generate more money. But it is a partnering. Right? It's a partnering with my team so that we can have more fun and have some more and bond and just really enjoy each other because we all work so hard. So I leave Costco after that bill being about $2,000 for just some food, right? I'm not stuff I don't have to tell you, but anyway, so we're leaving Costco. As we're leaving Costco, there's this woman on the side of the street, and she's holding a sign. You probably know what I'm going to say. I don't think she was homeless, but I looked at her shoes. She was wearing these pink little thongs. Her feet were dirty. She was this beautiful Mexican lady, and she was holding a sign that was she needed to feed her and her son, or her and her baby. And my heart went out for her. And then immediately my assistant was telling me a story of how there's these women in San Diego right now that are being humanly trafficked. And she saw it on the news, and that they're being put on street corners, and their kids are being held ransom for human trafficking so that these women go out there and do this work. And which automatically seeded a moment of doubt in my head, because I was looking in my purse, and I almost never don't have money on me, because I like to be prepared for two reasons. Because I have a baby, and if my credit card doesn't work, I want to make sure that I always have money on me for our safety. But then if moments like this come up, the Bible says that when you see somebody in need, you must help. Now, this is no different in sales, right? This is no different in sales. When somebody comes to you and you can help them, if you can't get out of your own way to help them overcome objections, to help them stop thinking in a negative or limited way, then you aren't actually abiding by this mentality of partnership, right? Like when I work with a client and I'm in partnership with them, I have to say the hard things to them that nobody else will say. And then I have to love them more than they love themselves very often in order to believe in them to succeed, right? And sometimes it's hard to believe in someone when they are being negative or they are being challenging to deal with. And sometimes it's hard for you to believe in someone who's trying to help you. This happens in relationships all the time. I mean, look, our spouses are never there to try and hurt us. They are trying to mirror something or help us, or even when they're frustrated. But there's a breakdown in partnering, right? There's always a breakdown in partnering when something doesn't move forward. So back to the woman on the side of the street, as my assistant is telling me about this human trafficking thing and about somebody sitting, let's call it a pimp, sitting in a car watching her, my image of this woman immediately changed. And I thought to myself, okay, I don't really want to give money to this guy that's going to traffic her. I don't want to cede into that, right? And so the reason why that's important is you have to stop talking about people behind their backs. You have to start honoring the people in your life that you love, right? We had a situation yesterday, but where one of my clients actually said that I no-showed on a Facebook Live for her, which was, by the way, she wasn't trying to hurt me, right? But I called her up and I said, be careful when you say to people that I no-showed, right? First of all, I would never no-show. There was always an explanation of what happened. We couldn't get the woman's link. Our team was looking, chasing her down to try and find her, dead silence. But she had already sent it over, and it was in Andrew's spam account, and we couldn't find it. So my point is that make sure, because the minute you lose your authority as a leader, the minute you, first of all, don't stand for someone. So I see Carrie Tependino on here. She's a great friend of mine. If somebody was talking shit about her, I would close down the conversation. If someone was talking about my friend Carla, I would close down the conversation, or I would redirect it back to her, right? Or Sloan or Amy Yamada, right? It's really important, you guys, that you stand as leaders behind closed doors and in front of closed doors, because you got to think in the element of partnership, not in the element of right and wrong. So how does this lead back to sales? I changed my mindset about the woman immediately because, first of all, I don't know her character or who she is. But because I'm a hell of a coach, and the reason why I create massive wealth in my life is not that I don't have moments of breakdown, because I do. I had a moment of breakdown looking at that woman thinking there was something wrong with her, or somebody might be trafficking her, or I judged her for a moment of not wanting to give to her. And this happens, again, in our relationships, with our clients. And you are responsible for changing that dialogue in your head immediately, right? Immediately. So I did. I was like, you know what, Nadia, that might be happening right now. And I want to know more about that. But I can't look at this woman right now. And I gave her $4, which is all Nadia. I took it out of Nadia's pocket, right? And gave her $4. And by the way, my assistant is incredibly giving, like incredibly giving. So this has nothing to do, it's about mindset, right? So we drove around the corner. Now, my Porsche that I'm driving, like a freaking Porsche, and I'm looking at this woman, I just gave her $4. And I'm like, Nadia, where is a bank machine? I stopped and I pulled over and I got a bank machine. And every corner that I took in my car, by the way, I could hear the champagne bottles clicking together, which was a very loud awareness that I was about to go spend this weekend with my team that cost $14,000, right, to spoil them. And I'm driving a Porsche and this woman is standing on the corner and I'm like, who am I not to make a difference for this woman, even though it's, 6 o'clock at night. I want to see my son before he goes to bed. I haven't seen him all day because he's at school. Now he's with the nanny. And I really just want to get home because we got to unload all of this stuff and move on with our night so that I can get up and do it all again today, right? And so, but I was managing my thoughts of partnership. So I got the money, I turned around, I gave her $200. I gave it to her and she could barely look me in the eye. She kept doing this and looking back at me and looking in my rearview mirror as I was looking at her with like just eyes full of tears. And I don't know if that made a difference for her, but I know that it made a difference for her night. And I know that it made a difference that her child, could actually eat or whatever was going on. But you know what it makes a difference for? Who I am. And this is why I can turn around and charge the prices that I charge. Where I can raise my prices and not feel bad about it. Where I can completely make offers and stand on it. When somebody messaged me the other day, and she might even be on this Facebook Live, and said, Shanda, I encountered one of your clients. And I can't believe you coach people to sell their services that high. Just so you know, I actually don't coach my clients to sell their services ridiculously high. I coach my clients to sell their services based on their vision, not mine, not my belief system. I actually charge prices below the industry because I have a vision. I have a vision for a mass, like I want to reach masses and masses and masses of people. But I also know if I charge too low, you won't get results, which is why I have something called the 1% Club coming out, where it's only for people who want to be millionaires. And it's still not that expensive. It's $2,400 a month. And that might seem like a lot, but you know what? If I help you create an extra 100,000 in a year or $1 million over 2 years, that's nothing, right? But that's still below the industry standard, right? And so I share this with you because when I talked to that woman in my inbox, I was like, tell me about what's going on in your money situation. I partnered with her, right? I had another woman message me that she's frustrated and mad because she couldn't get a hold of somebody in my company or whatever, right? And I'm like, great, let me have somebody on my company call you so that we can partner with her to figure out, like, let her be heard. Right? But what I can tell you is if she's that frustrated with coaches on my team and things like that, I know who my coaches are. I mean, I talk to them weekly. I talk to some of them daily. They're incredibly giving, loving people. I will always uphold their reputation and be loyal and partner to them. And also be loyal to the person complaining to figure out how do I unhook them from complaining so that they can get the results that they want. Because if you're complaining, you're off freaking purpose. And that is painful. So if you want to create a ton of wealth, you want to create financial freedom, you first of all have to learn this element of partnership and all the pieces that go into it. And that is loyalty. That is upholding people's reputation. That's all we got, you guys. Uphold mine, uphold your friends, When something happens and a breakdown happens, don't go straight to blaming or gossip. If you are talking about people behind their back, you are gossiping. Or if you are not shutting down a conversation about somebody gossiping about somebody's back, you are not making a difference. And if you are not making a difference in every area of your life, you are not going to hit the financial freedom that you want because you are incongruent. And when you're incongruent, like you're afraid to shut down a conversation where somebody's not upholding somebody's reputation, even if you know that somebody is not perfect, which I don't know about you, but the last time I looked in a mirror, I was not perfect. I was not perfect. I have judgments. I have thoughts, but I course correct them as quick as I can. I'm happy to say it used to take me weeks, and now it usually takes me, usually a few minutes, right? Because it's very rare that somebody hurts me to the level, unless it's my husband or a very, very close friend. There's nothing that hurts me to the level that keeps me in a scarcity conversation for longer than usually 4 to 5 minutes. And that's the truth. You can ask my team, you can ask my husband, you can ask people around me. I will course correct and get into partnership. And I really believe that's why I make the money that I make. I believe it's because it comes from a space of generosity. And you cannot be in great partnership unless you're willing to generously believe in people and generously look up on a day-to-day basis. Never be too busy to help people. Right? Like I bend over backwards for people. We play contests inside my company to not only help the community grow, but also to help our clients grow. If you're not someone who is congruently stepping up and giving, I'm telling you, you will always find it stressful to grow a business. You will always find it hard to hold good people. You will always find work a stretch. And so I ask you, how are you partnering today? Who do you need to clean something up with today that has you be congruent in your level of your pursuing wealth in the element of partnership? And if you could think like that, I promise you, there is absolutely nobody that I can't help create the business formulas to create ultimate wealth inside their businesses. But I'll tell you, if you don't think like that, it makes it nearly impossible, because I'll constantly be having a conversation with you about your time conversations, about your scarcity or your talent, and it has nothing to do with talent. I am not the most talented person in my industry, by far. I look at Gary Vee's YouTube channel. It's incredible, right? I look at Marie Forleo's creativity. It's incredible. I am not the most talented person in my industry, but guess what? I'm right up there with earning the same amount of income. And then there's tons of people who are way more talented than me that aren't even close to making any of our income. And that's because it's about the way we partner. So I hope that this morning's coffee with Shanda was useful to you. I'm going to go hit the gym now, go partner with myself. I've been coaching with somebody by the name of Jesse Itzler, who was on my Facebook Live Coffee with Shanda yesterday, and he's actually going to be at the Zone event. If you don't have your tickets to the Zone event, please come. We're having even a challenge with the hotel because we have sold out of our room block 4 times now. And so get your ticket to the Zone event and come, and then let us know if you can't get a hotel room. But Jesse's going to be there, and here's why I went off on that tangent. Jesse's been influencing all of us and a group of us to train for endurance. And in that, he's transformed the way that we think. And one of the things that he does is he always has 3 hours of time every single day to himself. And my son's going to get up in about 30 minutes, and I'll be at the gym, and I'll be working out. And my husband will be partnering with me and taking care of Zach in the morning, and then I'll be taking him. Actually, Ash is actually taking him to school this morning. But if it wasn't my partner, if it wasn't my husband, it would be my nanny, right? Because one thing that Jesse has taught me is you and I are ridiculously important. And if you don't put yourself first in the essence of taking care of yourself, it makes it really hard for you to have an overflow. And if you don't have 3 hours of time a day for yourself, something's up with your strategy and your self-worth conversation. which is probably going to make it hard for you to partner consistently because you're not taking care of yourself. So I'm going to take off and go take care of myself so I feel amazing for the rest of the day as I'm giving to Julie Surratt later and as I'm giving to my team later and then as I'm re-recording a webinar today. I need to have that ability to give, and so do you. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon. Mwah! God bless your strategy of creating wealth, time, and freedom.